So when we talk about electric mobility, we're not just talking about a different kind of car. We are talking about a massive, fundamental shift in how we power our lives and, how we move around in the world. It is, without a doubt, one of the biggest technological and social changes we're trying to figure out right now.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The technology, the promise, this whole revolution. It's all happening as we speak. But being ready for it? Well, that is a completely different story. It involves so much more than just shiny new cars. It's about infrastructure, it's about our wallets, and it's even about changing the daily habits we barely even think about. So let's dive in and break it all down.
To even begin to answer if we're ready, we first have to get a handle on the why. What's the incredible promise of electric vehicles that has everyone, from car makers to governments, pouring billions of dollars into this? At its core, it's a chance to completely reshape our relationship with transportation.
For more than 100 years, the internal combustion engine has been king of the road, but we all know it comes with a pretty hefty price tag. Greenhouse gases that warm the planet, air pollutants that affect our health, that constant drone of traffic noise, and of course, that seemingly endless cycle of oil changes and tune-ups.
Now, this is where electric vehicles come in. They are literally designed to tackle each of these problems head-on. You get zero tailpipe emissions, which means cleaner air in our cities almost overnight. The near-silent motor dials down all that noise pollution. And on a technical level, they're just way more efficient at turning energy into actual movement. Plus, that elegant simplicity, fewer moving parts, has another huge benefit.
I mean, think about it. With no oil to change, no spark plugs to replace, no exhaust system that's going to rust out, the day-to-day upkeep of an EV can be way, way lower. That's a huge long-term advantage that really changes the whole equation of owning a car. But, and you knew there was a but coming, the full picture isn't quite that simple.
Okay, so the promise of EVs is pretty amazing. But if the benefits are so clear, why hasn't everyone already made the switch? It's time for a little reality check, a clear-eyed look at the real-world hurdles that are slowing this whole transition down.
Yeah, this is the question on everybody's mind, right? We hear all about the environmental perks and the incredible tech, but there are clearly some major speed bumps on the road to getting everybody on board. So let's take a look at what the big ones are.
It really seems to boil down to three major hurdles that pop up again and again. First, the sticker price. EVs still, for the most part, cost more upfront than a similar gas-powered car. Second is just the logistics of charging. Where do you even plug in, especially if you live in an apartment or have to park on the street? And third is that classic range anxiety, that nagging fear that you'll run out of juice when you're far from home. And to really get why that upfront cost is so high, you have to look at the battery. That battery pack alone can be a full one-third of the entire vehicle's price. So while you save a ton of money on gas and maintenance over time, that initial hit to your wallet, driven by this one massive component, is still a major barrier for a lot of people.
And the challenges go way beyond just the car itself. This transition demands a massive infrastructure project. We're talking about building enough public chargers so people feel confident and have convenience. We also have to make sure our electrical grids can actually handle all that extra demand. And it means a major shift in our own habits. We have to go from a 5-minute stop at the gas station to a totally new way of thinking about planning for charging.
Okay, so we've seen the promise and we've seen the problems. Now let's look at how governments and policymakers are stepping in. Because they see the long-term benefits, they're actively trying to create a roadmap to help smooth out those speed bumps and make this transition faster and easier for everyone.
And this isn't just happening in one country. It's a global playbook, with different countries trying different strategies. In India, they have direct financial incentives. In Malaysia, they're using tax exemptions to bring down that crucial upfront cost. And then you have places like Germany, where they're setting up entire regions as real-world labs to test and perfect new e-mobility tech.
Now, a huge piece of this whole policy puzzle is a technical-sounding word with a really simple but vital meaning: interoperability. Basically, it means making sure that any car can use any charging station, anywhere. Without that, the whole network becomes this confusing, frustrating patchwork that just kills consumer confidence. Standardization is absolutely the key to making charging as simple and reliable as filling up with gas. But look, policy is only half of the answer. The other half is innovation. The same tech sector that created these incredible vehicles is now in a flat-out race to solve the very problems that are holding them back, from battery chemistry all the way to software and beyond.
And we're seeing this innovation happen on two really big fronts. First, there's this convergence of electric and autonomous driving tech, which promises to create a totally new kind of vehicle experience. And second, and this is so critical, is the push to pair EVs with renewable energy. Sure, charging your car with electricity from a coal plant is an improvement, but charging it with solar or wind power, that's when you really close the loop and get truly sustainable transportation.
All of this brings us to a final and I think crucial idea. Maybe the end goal isn't just to replace every single gas car on the road with an electric one. Maybe it's about fundamentally rethinking how our cities and towns actually work. After all, a traffic jam filled with electric cars is still a traffic jam. A true revolution in mobility means we have to look beyond the individual car and focus on the entire transportation system, making it smarter, more efficient, and more accessible for everyone.
And this is where micromobility becomes so essential. You know, shared electric scooters and bikes are absolutely perfect for those shorter trips across town. And electrifying our public transit fleets, from buses to trams, can move more people with way less energy. For our crowded cities, these are often much better solutions for cutting down on congestion.
You know, this quote from a project in Austria really nails the end goal. They talk about integrated mobility models. The future is a system where your phone might help you seamlessly hop from an e-bike to a train to a shared self-driving car to get where you're going. It's about building a connected network, not just a better car.
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? The push for electric mobility started with the car, but its true potential, its real power, is unlocked when we ask this much bigger question. The goal isn't just to make our current way of life a little bit cleaner, but to build a future that is fundamentally more efficient, more connected, and more sustainable for all of us. And the answer, of course, is that we have to do both.